She's an award-winning YouTuber and best-selling author obsessed with helping you go after the life you want.
I like it.
Join her as she seeks out the stories and strategies
Give me every little detail
of extraordinary people who found success.
I'm going to get emotional. Oh my God.
Welcome to Detail Therapy with Amy Landino.
Good morning, good life. Welcome back to Detail Therapy. In this episode, we're getting into the details about how you're going to stop wasting your time. I've got a number of ideas to share with you today. Some things to consider if maybe you could be doing a better job of letting less hours slip away from your potential success. Let's get into it. But if you're new here, hi. My name is Amy Landino. I will be your host. I am your productive lifestyle and success coach. I'm also the founder of Gatlu House, which is a resource dedicated to helping you go after the life you want. We've got a lot of stuff for you to check out. You can find everything, including the show notes for this podcast, by heading over to detailtherapy.online. So this particular episode is inspired by old school Amy TV. I was watching some old videos of mine because, times used to be so simple. Do you remember back in the day where we thought we had problems and now it's 2021 and we're wide awake? I was just kind of watching back and just seeing, what kinds of conversations have we had in the past? What was helpful? What was something that we can still be thinking about today? What's still relevant? You know what? It's all still relevant. We think our problems are just so special and different, and that times have changed and now we're continuing to have to learn. But in all actuality, we've had the same problems forever. We're just dressing it up with different storytelling. So that was just a revelation that I was having. And I thought there is a YouTube video that I made that if I could, revive it, then I would. And I totally could. But then I thought, but what if we just talked about it on Detail Therapy? Because it's such a good conversation for those who are hanging out with me with their earbuds in. So I'm going to share a bunch of tips with you today on how you can stop wasting your time. Let's dive right in. First and foremost, reframe what you have to do with what you get to do. Oh man, that to-do list sure doesn't look like a list of luxurious moments in your life, does it? No, it doesn't. It just doesn't. And you know what? We're not afraid to say it. But at the same time, let's get a little bit of perspective here. We made that list by being who we are and going after the lives we want. Some ways we're successful, and other ways we're still working on it. We're still trying to climb our way out. Regardless of that, we woke up this morning. We get to do those things. The alternative would be quite bleak. So when you really think about how lucky we are, even when it's a gloomy day outside like it is right now for me, I could think, ugh, what a gross day. Or I could just think, I got to witness it. And I got to do a podcast today. And I got to work on a video today. And I got to go do this appointment later. And I got to go to the doctor. I have to do those things. But I also get to do those things because I'm continually on this journey. I'm thankful for that. And I know that every little step that I take is going in the right direction. So when you look at everything you've got going on, when someone says to you, what's up your butt? Why are you not in a good mood today? Or, well, I have so much to do. I have so much that has to get done. When am I going to make time for it all? When is it going to happen? I'm so overwhelmed. Okay. Just take it one step at a time. What's the next thing? All right, well, next, I get to unload the dishwasher. Do you know what that means? Oh, it's a world of possibilities that I've got clean dishes. It's like we get to start all over again after that big dinner we had last night. We get to do it all again. We get to do it again. That is a great way to stop wasting time because you have already decided to tell yourself that whatever you're doing is not a waste of time. And if you're still not convinced that something isn't a waste of time, then you can decide not to do it. My second tip for you is get excited about the goal. The only reason why you take the baby steps, that you do the things, that some of the things that don't feel as sexy, you still try to tell yourself, well, I get to do it. I'm very fortunate. I have a great life and I'm living a life and that's amazing. But when you're just not seeing the vision, it's because you've lost sight of it. You've lost sight of that goal. Get excited about that goal. Excitement is one of those feelings that I crave every day. And that's really hard for me because my bar for excitement has gone up a lot in the last 10 years. It takes a lot for me to get excited. But an excited feeling is what gets me going. It makes me so pumped up to know that something could happen that would actually excite me. And I know that if I don't have a goal that excites me, then all is not well. This is not going to be a fun process. This is not going to be a day filled with things I get to do if I'm not at the very minimum excited about something that maybe hasn't come true yet, but could. Because I've set my sights on it and I'm focused and I'm going to go get it. Are you excited about your goal? Or is your goal not exactly the gut check of excitement that you really need? Did you just set it because it seemed like the right one to make? That's not a goal you're going to achieve anytime soon. Even if you do, it's going to be a boring journey of a road because it's not even something that gets you going every day. All right, something super practical. If you want to stop wasting your time, manage and track your time with a calendar. We talk about this a lot on Amy TV, on gatlu.com, and on Detail Therapy. There is a task list and there is actual time slots to get things done, and time slots you get to observe when you don't get things done, when you just enjoy existing or rest or spend time with your family. Manage and track your time with a calendar because a calendar will actually indicate to you what is possible with the amount of time that you have. And then if you realize there's just too much more, how can we get help with that? That's how we get better with asking for help, is when we rectify the fact that the list and the amount of time that we are given as human beings may not match up. So what could you ask someone to do you a favor on? What could you hire somebody to do for you so that you can get those hours back? There's always something. Sometimes we think, oh, but I don't have the money for that. Okay, but what if you did because you got that time back? Because you were spending it in a place that was not just productive for you, but productive for your wallet. There are many things on my to-do list that are menial tasks that if I would like to consider myself at another level or spending times on more things that would actually pay me more, then I have to understand that that's got to get done by someone, an expert that could do it for me. That's what I love when I think about how can I ask for help. I love looking at all my options and saying, well, who is that and what are they an expert in? Because I want that person on my team. I'm not talking about business, guys. I'm not. Let me tell you what I'm not good at. I don't mow the lawn. Okay, that's not a thing I do. I actually rented a house once when I was in my early 20s because I was just so extra and I just thought I needed that much space at the ripe old age of 23. And the landlord said, I'll shave $25 off a month if you mow the lawn. And I was like, great. But I didn't. I just didn't. And I had a party and my friends came over and I was so proud of my house. And they just laughed at me the whole time because the backyard was just disgusting. The lawn looked ridiculous. And the landlord was not a huge fan of me. So I don't mow the lawn, but I know somebody would be really, really, really good at that and take much better care. And I want to pay that expert to do what they are amazing at. And then I get to enjoy the benefit of their work because I was off doing my best work. Whatever that best work is for you. That best work for you could be work. That best work for you could be raising your kid. You got to get that time from somewhere. So look at the calendar, understand where is there actually pockets of time to do the things you got to do and the things that you got to get done that maybe you're not best at that are going to take you forever. And you could get an expert to help you with that, even if the expert is your significant other, and asking them to do something around the house that ordinarily you would take on yourself. When you see the reality of where your time flies off to, and then also give yourself the grace that you should have some of that time for you, some of that time just for nothing, you're going to get a lot better about delegating and being realistic with your time. My next tip is for those of you who are always asking me this, because as someone who comes off like a planning queen, which I don't know that I would really call, maybe I've called myself that in the past. I don't know. I have been young and ambitious before and probably called myself that, but I don't actually think it. I think I'm getting better at it all the time, and I share that journey with you. But a lot of people come to me and they say, oh, you're the planning queen, but like, what happens when life happens? What happens when things hit the fan? What do you do then? Well, here's the thing. Like I said about planning for spaces of time, for you to just be you and have downtime and space, you need to have a similar pocket of energy be dedicated to things not going according to plan. So a couple of things to consider here. One, in business specifically, I know I cannot block my entire day because not only do I have to chop things off the list, but I also have to manage a team of people who are doing the same thing. And things are going to happen on their plate that might be a little bit above their pay grade that I've got to make a decision on. And I got to make time to make those decisions. And sometimes those decisions mean conversations. Sometimes those decisions mean a little bit more research. And if that time wasn't blocked, then where's it going to come from? Something's going to have to fall off. So that space that I try to plan for is like that floating, just whatever's happening that we weren't expecting space to handle it. The other thing is, and I've gotten this question a lot, is, when you block your time, let's say you have a coffee appointment with somebody, and we're going to call it a digital coffee appointment, hopefully these days, you're just getting on Zoom, right? But that person texts you 5 minutes before. By the way, this is so annoying. Like, how do you find out 5 minutes before you're canceling? It's very rude. But let's say somebody cancels 5 minutes before you're supposed to get on this Zoom call, and it's not, it's just something that's got to get canceled at this point. You got to deal with it. You just got back that entire hour, and now you're like, well, what do I do now? I calendar blocked my whole day, Amy. And now this person has abandoned me, and I have all of this Are you serious? First of all, no one really has that problem. They just like to pretend like they have that problem, that they can't come up with something to do as a backup when they get canceled on. But you should always have a plan for a backup, right? What's scheduled for tomorrow that could easily be moved to today if you ended up with the time back in your spot? Let's say that was an actual coffee appointment in real life, and that person, something unfortunate happened and they didn't make it. Maybe it didn't end up on their calendar at the right time. Maybe they were in a small fender bender. Nothing bad really happened to them, but they're not going to make it. Okay, what can you do in that coffee shop right now that would still use that time wisely? Always have a backup plan for that. And then always have a little bit of buffer throughout your day for the unexpected, the traffic jam, the phone call emergency, the errand you forgot about. It's okay that life happens. We're not going to plan every single moment of the day because we have to remember that we're going to need a little bit of room for error because we're human. If you want to stop wasting your time, do more activities that energize you. It's really hard to feel like you wasted your time after you went to the gym, right? Now, what happens before you go to the gym? Not for everyone, but for some of us, we are dreading it. We're not excited. Don't want to go. I don't want to go. I really don't want to. But my doctor says I have to, and Amy says it's good for me to, release some endorphins and feel good. We never feel like that's a waste of time because we walk out of there doing something that fueled us with energy. That's one example. There could be a million other things that give you energy when you know what they are and they make you feel in your element. How do you make more time to do those things? How do you make more time for the things that give you energy? You are not going to feel like you're wasting your time when you're feeling energized. And my final tip is just a really gentle and important reminder. Make time for you. What is something that you just need? And you don't have to explain it to anybody. You're probably going to have to tell people what you're doing. I mean, it depends on who you got in your life, right? But let's just say, you're an introvert. You haven't had alone time lately, and you could just go for a couple of hours of not talking to anyone, maybe even a whole night. Maybe you need to go stay somewhere and just be alone, because you're going to feel like a much happier person when you come back and you re-engage with those people because you feel refreshed. Or maybe you just need to go get your nails done. Do you just need to go get your nails done? Something I have to get better about is getting my nails done has become such a normal task that I don't even find myself enjoying it anymore, because I'm going there with let's just get this over with and then I gotta bounce. Does anyone feel that way? I know this sounds so messed up, but it's true. I just need them done, and I wish I could do them myself, but they would be wretched if I did. But that's also time for me. That's a moment that I get to go and just sit and let someone do what they're really good at and make me feel better about myself when it's all done. And so scheduling that time for you, particularly, I'm much better about this with facials, because you literally lay there and it just is heavenly. That's like a me time scheduling. Just something else though. Have you scheduled an hour to read a book you've been meaning to read? Because you actually want to, not because you heard you should be reading books, because you just, I wish I had time to go just sit in my beautiful backyard and read a book. Do you wish you had that time? What do you wish you had time for you? Go do it. Find the time for it. Make the time for it. Know that it is just as important as every other thing that is expected of you to get done. And no one is going to lay out the rose petals and pull you aside and lock you in a room to do it, because they don't have to. It's not their job, and it is completely up to you. You have to take care of yourself. Even when you are doing something just to slow down, just to do you, you're not wasting time, especially when you do it with so much intention. Scrolling on your phone and watching 6 episodes of a Netflix series could absolutely be that if you want that. But if it's just something you tend to do every night habitually, it's not got the intention behind it. It is going to fall into the basket of a time waster if you begin to feel that way. So this is so important. Set aside the time for you. I really hope that you're feeling like you have a better idea of what time well spent is like, especially after how crazy bizarre the last couple of years have been. And I also hope that you remember that we are not defined by one season of our lives. So even if there's been some challenging moments lately, or maybe not, maybe it's exciting times, that's fine. But we're not defined by one season. It's everything we do over the space of this human experience and the legacy that we never really even know that we're leaving until we're gone. And it just is what it is. When you consider all of that and your goal and what you want to see for yourself and what you want to be known for and what you hope that you do with this life, you are much more likely to understand on a regular basis whether you feel like you're wasting time. Just so you know, here at Detail Therapy, we're not a real doctor, okay? I definitely didn't go to med school. It's not my thing. But we do have a little bit of a copay here. If you found this show to be helpful for you, if it made you look at your time a little bit differently, if you think other people would find it useful, please share the show and tag us on Instagram or wherever you are, Twitter, all the places at Details Podcast. And I'm personally at Schmatastic. Just let me know that you enjoyed this by sharing. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Remember, subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. See you back here for the next one. Cheers.